Greetings, dear ones. It is Monday, March 7th, and I'm continuing this daily series. It's a little glitch there, so I'm not sure. Let me restart that. Today is Monday, March 7th, and this is another in a continuing series of midday meditations for and on behalf of Ukraine and you and the world. For there is really no division, there is no separation between and among not only the peoples of the world, but the earth aspects as well. If any of you have been tuning in, you have heard me share about the deep connection in and through your body to the earth and back and forth, a beautiful back and forth synergy and cooperation that allows for that life to continue both in our human species and in the planet, because they are interconnected, and it's such a delicate balance that certain amounts of plants or animals disappear, become extinct, are dysfunctional, directly affects our lives, our bodies, our health, our continued existence on this planet. And as we spoke about the connection between body and the earth, then, that recognition that we are also connected to the animals and critters and insects. And so then the following meditation was for and on behalf of them, the animals. And the beautiful synchronicity of all of that, later that same day, a post came through about the attempt and successful evacuation of the zoo animals in one of the larger cities in Ukraine. So many animals, the people were taking their pets with them as they evacuated, or they brought their pets down into the subway. And yet we have all of these animals that are vital to the environment that are being destroyed by bombing and burning, and just, if you can imagine, just the sound waves for animals that are hundreds or even thousands of times more sensitive to sound than we humans are. Um, we talk in such general terms about what's going on and what can be done by governments, etc., but oftentimes we don't feel into what's going on daily. And not only in the war in Ukraine, but all around the world. Um, I read an article this morning that I believe it was Indonesia. They finally, after four decades of trying to pass a law to change the sexual consent age from 12 to 16. So, and it was finally passed after all of these years. There are needs and protections for people, children, animals, the earth, all over the world right now. And it's coming to a crucial head because it is in direct conjunction with our own evolution. That how we treat ourselves, how we treat others, how we treat the land, how we treat the critters, this all is shifting from an ownership, control, using, abusing, taking advantage of way of being, to a more cooperative, collaborative, connected, communal way of being. But a lot has to fall apart in order for the rebuild. And interestingly, two different card decks I pulled from this morning. One was a Gaia deck, And it says they're talking about the new energy of Gaia. And the new human creates a new energy into Gaia, which responds with new energy to you. That's how powerful you are. And this is what has been part of my teaching for many years, is that what you do individually, whether it's in an action by refusing to purchase furniture from trees that are endangered, or if it's continuing to decrease your use of plastics, single use plastics, or maybe it's not supporting certain companies that have been detrimental to the land or environment, or, directing some of the money that we use so much for purchasing items to perhaps gifting it to an organization that you have investigated, because there are many watchdog organizations where you can check the amount of funds that come into a charity or an organization, and how much of that is actually dedicated to what it's meant to, or what they say, rather than waste or administration. So we've been talking about magic and bringing forward the idea that magic has always existed on this planet in every culture, and locations on this planet are entry points or portals through which we can access other worlds, magical and otherwise. And one of the key factors in maintaining those portals, or rather, they are portals themselves, are trees. And those of you who, again, have worked with me or followed my work for any length of time know my passion in regard to trees. And it's not just the trees themselves, which are magnificent beings with the ability to feel, communicate, protect, have a deep sense of community and connection to one another, to a grove of trees, to the land critters, homes. They are food for us, for animals. The list goes on and on and on. That's why in some indigenous cultures, the standing people, as they're referred to, because there is recognition, not only in trees, but in all beings, that there is a beingness, that there is an intelligence. It may be different than ours, function differently, but that there is a level of sentience, and there certainly is a level of life force and beingness. And trees are absolutely vital. Well, everything has its place and is absolutely vital in this entire web. But trees are such placeholders for so much, for an entire environment or ecosystem or habitat area for many, many, many different creatures and plants and fungus and moss and so on and so on. It just goes on and on. So when those trees are damaged or eliminated, we are eliminating much more than just a tree. And right now we're under a wind advisory here in my area, close to Philadelphia. And I always sit in deep meditation on these days for the trees in my area, very definitely working with the element of air and the trees themselves and their health, and sending vitality and anything that they may need, so that they can bend with the breeze and not break, because so often when those trees, the branches start to fall, people get panicked in the area and they start cutting down trees right and left in an attempt to protect their homes. And there has to be a compromise, there has to be a way um, for us to live with trees and at the same time have our homes safe. Um, I was struck yesterday as I was driving around this area. There is a very invasive vine of some sort that has been choking so many trees by the sides of the roads, and the little, um, little copses of trees are completely destroyed by this vine. So, between the cutting down of the trees and the vine, and we have these very destructive lanternfly invasion in this area as well, all up and down the East Coast and more. And this is true in many different countries. So our tree people are under attack from many different things, and to think and feel and realize that they are under attack in this horrific way in Ukraine, by bombing and destruction, and the land itself being polluted and burned and um, deeply and profoundly and perhaps permanently affected by the chemicals and the destruction that's going on with the weapons that are being used. And in many different countries, as I've been chatting about the past couple days, focusing on magic, it is in the forests and it is in the small tree environments, little copse of trees or a group of trees, or the habitat between and among the trees and the plants and the little critters, that allows for a small magical patch, or in some instances, the trees themselves are portals. And in other places throughout time, as the magical worlds um, kind of stepped away from the human world, or we disconnected from them, oftentimes many beings enfolded themselves in a tree until such time as it is safe to return to this world and be in collaboration and cooperation once again with man. We also hold, not only do trees hold all of the pollution, they suck in and hold in their systems. It's not just that they're the lungs of the world, that they take in and transform air, but they literally hold it. So when you cut a tree down, you're releasing into the air once again all that that tree has held for however many years or decades it has been alive. And again, countless are probably being destroyed in Ukraine and are being destroyed in many other countries for other reasons. And with that goes magic. So I encourage you to find or connect to a tree in your area, on your property, and really allow yourself the experience of that tree and the potential for a tree fairy to be there, a tree being, the beingness of the tree to gift you, teach you. As I started to say a little while ago, the indigenous cultures see the tree as the symbol of givingness, and they give in, as I said, countless ways. So if you can connect to some of the trees in your area and feel into them and through them, there is an energetic root system that goes throughout the entire planet. So when you are communing with a tree, speaking to a tree, listening to a tree's wisdom, feeling its givingness, feeling the um, gifts that it is sharing moment to moment and on a daily basis. Children know this. They instinctively, as little ones, go to trees and play on trees and talk to trees and feel the trees. There's plenty of movies that give us examples of that. So I'm going to invite you to feel into or look outside and see a tree nearby and just send gratitude and allow yourself to potentially feel that tree. And over the next couple days, as I said, find trees where you can connect deeply and perhaps even um, speak to or experience a tree fairy. And if you live in a city and it's hard to find any trees, you can tap into still the tree wisdom through the wood in furniture, um, the wood in so many things around us, also through particular essential oils. Again, when I'm referring to oils, I'm talking about Young Living oils because I know their purity and the integrity with which they're made. And there are many, many tree oils that they produce, spruce and pine and um, uh, evergreen essence, which is a combination of several different evergreen trees. There is balsam fir, just on and on and on. I don't know the full count, but any of them would be beneficial to you and to accessing the magic through trees. Some of those that are found in Ukraine are primarily the pine tree, oak tree, and their national tree, which is willow, and the birch tree, which is very, very significant in their um, magic for hundreds and hundreds of years. And they consider the world tree to be a birch tree, and there's many different stories and traditions around the birch. Um, so please allow some of your magic or the potential for you to connect to magic through trees to just be sent through that um, energetic root system around the planet and to receive from that same root system and the trees the benefit of steadfastness and givingness, excuse me, and community and wisdom. Many trees are very long lived and hold a great deal of wisdom. The redwood tree, of course, the baobab tree, the yew tree that is indigenous to Europe and particularly the English Isles, where they have found one yew and estimate it to be 9,000 years old. So allow yourself to receive from the trees today and allow yourself that circular giving, receiving back to the trees, particularly in Ukraine, and all the little critters and plants and the habitat and ecosystems surrounding trees. So I invite you to just gently feel your body, not doing anything major, but just feeling your body and allowing yourself to sink down and in. And our bodies represent, in many ways, the trees themselves, our spine being the trunk. And if you look at the leaves, or rather the branches of a tree, there is almost identical similarity between nerves and interconnectedness of our brains, cells, certainly in regard to the lungs. The brachia of our lungs are almost identical to those of trees. And our roots, which we so effectively have disconnected from, for our roots are in the earth as part of the earth. And so simply allowing yourself to feel your body, feel the way your energy field reaches upward to the energies from above, and how your energy field reaches deep down, potentially into the earth, and that you, like the tree, is a bridge, are a bridge between the two, the divine and the earthly, the sky and the land, again, not having to do anything. And I really encourage you to not vision a tree, except to do the initial connection, but instead to actually feel your body and feel your body as a tree. Because there is such profound connection and remembrance deep within your DNA of how interdependent and interconnected and entwined our lives have been with the trees on this planet, and of course still is. But in days of old, there was a profound acknowledgement and interchange of information, energy, through what is referred to as magic. There are tree fairies, and each tree holds different characteristics, and each fairy connected to those trees with different abilities and skills, qualities. So allowing yourself to receive the gift of magic from the trees, among the many other gifts that they share with us every moment of every day. And the more deeply you feel yourself, your body, You can tap into that ancient connection, ancient acknowledgement, ancient communication, cooperation with the trees. From no matter what part of the world your ancestry sources from, the connection and relationship to trees has always been. And you may have an affinity for certain trees or tree types, not only based on where you grew up, but perhaps through these ancestral connections. Allowing the air to fill your lungs with gratitude to those trees that maintain our ability to breathe air. To allow yourself to feel energetically sinking ever more deeply down within you, to allow you to feel deeply, extensively connected through the strata of the soil, or through the soil strata. Allow yourself to experience the gift of flexibility and bending with the forces of the wind. Whether that be the winds of change, harsh winds, of those who cause harm, or allowing yourself to feel the movement of a breeze through the trees and the leaves, the sound, bringing such serenity and ease to your system. Different trees making different sounds as the wind moves through them. A beautiful scent that so many trees give off, whether they're flowering trees or fruit trees or evergreen trees. Allowing all of your senses to be filled with these gifts from trees, and how in many forests, in many areas, lands, sacred lands of the planet, these beautiful standing beings have held portals, doorways, openings to the magical, to other worlds. Whose energy or wisdom or knowledge or skills we need in many of the ancient ways. Of healing, of moving energy in such a way to create the life you desire. For it is in conjunction with, cooperation with, connection with these aspects of nature, these beings, trees, animals, insects, mushrooms, all of that which is created around a tree or a group of trees or a forest. Allow yourself the remembrance deep within your cells, deep within your energy field. Perhaps tapping into your particular magic. You can do this whenever and however easily and effortlessly through and with the assistance of a tree being. The upcoming three-month program, you will learn how to begin to shapeshift into your particular tree companion, or perhaps through one of the many world trees or trees of life we'll be talking about. And as you feel your energy field beginning to integrate and return to a more physical experience, know that you can return and drop in, revolve into a deep meditation or connection or communion. I would encourage you to feel it as more of a communion with a tree. For the benefits are so vast, a few of which I mentioned today. As you can see over this side, that is a magical tree made by a magical being. Try to take a picture of it, post it later today. Who recognizes and works with wood, both natural and man-made, to recycle into beautiful pieces of art and function. So, dear ones, I will be continuing again meditations for and on behalf of Ukraine, you, the world, at least while this struggle is so strong and so loud in our world. And I really invite any of you to make in the comments, write in the comments what you have been observing, what you feel are some of the major themes of what's occurring in our world. It is not, I will emphasize again and again and again, it is not detrimental, although it's so painful and suffering and causing so much pain all around the world, what's going on in Ukraine and other places. It is the deconstructing and deformation of the way we have been for thousands and thousands of years into a new way. As the card, I mentioned the new energy of Gaia. The other card that appeared today was the Phoenix. Let me show it up a little bit better. And this is from the Sacred World Oracle deck. It's beautiful art from Chris Walder. And as we know, the phoenix rises out of the ashes. So really hold that this is what's going on. It is absolutely purposeful, perfect, and necessary for the evolution of our species. And you play a significant and vital part in that. So every time you can sit and be with a tree or appreciate a tree or help a tree in some way, shape, or form, or prevent a tree from being destroyed or cut down, you are making that transition from an old way of being where we own and use and can kind of corner the market on something and have very few people holding that power and the resources, versus sustainable, life-giving, shareable ways of living and being. Again, this coming Friday is going to be the pre-course, Friday and Monday. You can choose which day is better for you. The pre-course for the 3-month program of personal and planetary redesign. All of that will be posted today and give you all the information of how to register, etc. So until tomorrow, it is, as always, with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence here on the planet. Be well.